I do have an engine warning light on the dashboard now. There's oil everywhere. That's our repair for now. I've wrapped it and then attached it to the coolant pipe. That evening, I arrived in Jena to try and look for a replacement pipe for the van. Whoa. I looked in the local bar, but unfortunately, I was unsuccessful in finding one. So I decided to go to bed. So it's 5 a.m. the next day and the journey continues. Today it's 7 hours to Krakow and then straight into Ukraine once I've picked up James and Nick from the airport. Hopefully the turbo pipe holds up and I can get a new one in Krakow. As the sun rose and as I headed towards Poland, I soon realised that this 700-kilometre journey would take a lot longer than I thought because I could only drive 80 kilometres an hour. It's 7 hours from Krakow and I'm really hoping I can find a pipe there before going into Ukraine. Because we've also been asked to take in 500 kilos of dog food and 6 toilets to set up a refugee centre. Driving the van by myself empty is fine, because as long as I don't rev it over 2,000, it's generally okay. But with 3 of us in and 500 kilos plus the rest of our stuff, I'm not quite sure how the electrical tape will hold up on the pipe. So really, yeah, we do need to find a pipe. All was going well as I drove through Poland. Even dealing with the toll booth in a right-hand drive vehicle wasn't too bad. The Polish motorways are generally fantastic. They're all brand new, super smooth, high speed limits, even with generally a lot of trucks. It was all going quite well until I got brave and tried to do 100 kilometers an hour. Come on, van! 3 more hours! 3 more hours to Krakow. I have no idea why the traction control isn't happy though now. The tape repair's now failed, which is a bit annoying. So the turbo's sort of stopped working again, which it is what it is. We'll be in, I'm only 350 kilometers now from Krakow. All I can really do is put some oil in it because it's leaking quite a lot of oil from this pipe and just keep going with or without a turbo. There's nothing I can really do. After a really slow drive, I finally arrived in Krakow, where I had some tasty food. It was a bit like British or Irish stew, except it tasted nice. After I met up with James and Nick, we headed towards the border, picking up the dog food on the way. Think that's all gonna fit?
Oh yeah.
It'll fit.
I'll make anything fit anyway.
Would it be unethical to take the turbo pipe from that van?
Only if they catch us.
Only if they what?
Only if they catch us.
As I was stood admiring the van, I couldn't help but notice that my friends in England had drawn a penis on the side. Cheers, guys. Shortly after that, we drove to the border and waited at the back of the line. So the longest I've ever been at the Ukrainian border is 13 hours. Look at these guys coming up all dramatic in the sun.
It's okay. I watched enough Top Gun to make that walk work. We actually had classes at one point in boot camp.
To do what?
How to walk properly. You
Yeah,
think they don't teach you how to walk properly in boot camp?
That makes sense, actually.
I think it's a big part of traditional.
Yeah.
Nick is an ex-Marine.
I'm still a Marine.
He's still a Marine, sorry. Still
Damn
a
it.
Marine. And now he's back in
I'm just
Ukraine.
in active duty.
You'd be active duty again here.
Technically, yes. I'm just old and fat.
How long do you think we're going to be here?
Well, we're within sight of the border, so less than 3 days.
That's a good start.
I mean, it's better than starting 7 days back. So.
That's true. And it smells of petrol in here.
Oh, that's actually just our reserve gas tank. You see, in case we actually run out of gas, we're just going to grab my bag with the 20 liters of petrol that's spilled on it and just bring it out and so we can get down to the gas station.
I really hope the American doesn't put petrol in the diesel van.
But just be glad you're not the one that has to siphon this shit out of your socks.
That's true. It's always quite a chaotic atmosphere waiting at the border, but it often is interesting. There's often British cars waiting to go in, as well as crashed American cars going in to be fixed and put back on the road in Ukraine. As the sun began to set, we got through the Polish border checkpoint and then just had to wait at the Ukrainian checkpoint to get our passport stamped. They let us out of Poland, now into Ukraine.
Hey, there's that secret Ukrainian middle lane.
Crazy time begins. The quality of the roads and the standard of driving soon changes when you get into Ukraine.
Yep, welcome to Ukraine. We're already in a head-on collision situation.
Why is he on the English side of the road? Let's keep going. All the cars are just on the wrong side of the road. What is going on? Oh,
that one's parked on the right side.
That's true. He's reversing for us.
These two guys got it.
Okay, thank you for letting us pass. People wait at the border for hours and hours, and the trucks can wait for days and days and days to be let out of the country and into Poland. The Ukrainians often blame the Polish guards for the delays. After dropping the dog food off at a humanitarian aid centre, we drove straight to the hotel. The van had made it the 2,800-kilometre journey across Europe. In the morning, we headed straight to the nearest car parts shop to try and find the replacement pipe.
Likely, or?
Sounds quite cool. Only in Ukraine you see the Camaro next to the ladder on the car parts shop. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we had no luck. As no one can get a pipe same day, we're going to have to fix it a bit better than it is and order one ahead of time for tomorrow in Kyiv. I didn't realise Kyiv is 7 hours away. This country's huge.
It's as big as Texas.
Do you think the van will get to Kyiv?
Oh yeah, the van will make it. Whether or not we have a turbo is a whole nother question.
That's true. All the oil is leaking from that huge hole there on the turbo intake pipe, intercooler pipe. Oh my god, it's Jesus.
I only bring love, my friends.
So I've wrapped it with duct tape, red tape. So I've also gone around it with black electrical tape and then duct tape it out of the way of the sharp thing. Hopefully this gets us to Kyiv because we've been using a lot of oil. Cool. In Ukraine, it's uncommon to refuel your own car. They mostly have petrol station attendants that do it for you. There's obviously a huge military presence throughout the country. I noticed that the military here also like transit vans. After driving for a few hours, we had to stop again to clean all the bugs off the windscreen. So while the windscreen's been washed, I thought I'd have a look around the petrol station. The guy cleaning the windscreen is refusing even a small tip, which is... It's a shame because we haven't bought any diesel. It's always nice to tip. But in Ukraine, there's really cool stuff like this. These are really common still. Old ladders, like really old ladders from the 70s, from the 80s. Generally, when it comes to trucks, they're all pretty new European trucks. And then cars are a mixture. There's so many American imports that have been crashed in the States and bought at auction and brought here really cheap. Loads of American cars, but importing a car here is silly money. My old BMW was valued at $4,000 by the mechanic if it was imported. If we wanted to import the van right now, which is probably valued, well, it was 2,000 English, it'd be about £4,000 including after you've imported it, because the government charges such high fees to import things. As darkness fell, and because I'd already driven all across Europe, I decided to pull over and let Nick have a turn at driving. Do you think you can handle a big red Transit?
Man, if I can handle this dick, I can handle anything.
Yeah, we
All
kind
right.
of fucked it up.
This is the second time I've driven a right-hand drive car.
Uh-oh.
This should be fun.
So
It's a manual, Nick.
Yeah, forgot I had to keep the clutch in. You've never driven a column shifter?
No.
You've never heard of five speeds on a column?
No.
Okay, maybe that's just an American thing.
you're
All
asking
right.
if it was okay for Nick to drive while he supervised? I think in fact it should be mandatory that Nick drives while he supervised.
Right. And then you gotta pull that up to get over there. All right, so that's reverse.
That's third.
That's third.
That's
Here's
first.
Wait, you got the brake in, don't you?
Yeah, the handbrakes on.
Okay, that makes it easier.
Okay. Oh, we're off. Your road positioning's very good to say you've never really driven a right-hand drive.
I mean, second time.
Yeah.
I get everything in my life is a cycle of constant improvement.
Uh-huh.
That's why I sucked the first time. Then after a year, I'm pretty good.
Fair enough, fair enough. It was a really smooth drive once he got used to how to change gear again. He even flashed a speed camera.
Doing like 52 right now.
Oh! First hill start. No pressure. No pressure.
Way more.
Oh! Oh, a bit of wheel spin, we did it. Nicely done, nicely done. We've arrived in Kyiv and Nick made it in the Transit. Parked next to a 200 series Toyota Land Cruiser and a 100 series Toyota Land Cruiser. So that's kind of cool. That's what we're going to upgrade from hopefully one day. But we'll see. They're really, really expensive over here. You like driving the Transit?
Well, it's good, but everything's, mirrored. Like, if you'd have just put shit where it belongs, I'd be great.
I think you did well.
Yeah. Honestly, my biggest problem is that I haven't driven stick in since the last time I was in Ukraine.
Yeah, you got
about
it.
2 years, honestly.
You got it. Cool. Let's go check in. As we walked into the hotel and checked in with reception, I felt the need to ask when they last had an air raid siren. What was the last air alarm?
It was today's morning.
Oh, 2 days ago. Okay.
Yeah, no. Today's morning.
Oh, this morning.
This morning.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Like the last night, it was 4 alarms.
4 alarms last night. Okay. After going upstairs and checking out the bedrooms, I was intrigued as to what was in my colleague's suitcase. What's in the really light suitcase?
Not much. So
It's really heavy.
yeah, no, the helmet. That's not a great look.
Okay.
The helmet's just sized for his head and tiny.
Yes, that's much better.
Fuck yes.
America!
You want to actually look like a Texan? There you go.
Whalen later has
Oh my goodness, you really do.
As I stood there wearing Nick's body armour, I couldn't help but think, why am I here? Why aren't I in England in my day job and messing around with old BMWs? The next morning, we went to the outskirts of Kyiv to where all the mechanics are to try and find a pipe. The buildings and the high-rise blocks of flats are exactly how I imagined Ukraine to be. This is weird. I see a Ford Transit. A Ford Transit, finally.
Look, it's an unguarded Ford Transit. We definitely have the...
Oh, Ford Transits! These are quite old Transits. Surely they have one. I think that one's missing a few parts. Using Google Translate, the owner of the garage explained that he thinks he had a pipe upstairs. We waited, really hoping he had the right one. We have a pipe. I think it might fit. I worry this is from the pre-facelift Mark 7 Transit with a smaller turbo because it looks a bit thinner. But we've got to try. It was worth it for 20 quid. They found getting British pound sterling very, very funny, but they were also happy. I wish I could have filmed that interaction. As we walked back to the van, I couldn't help but notice all these cars parked outside the different garages. Many of them were military cars, and many of them had been sat there a few years. So much energy has gone into sourcing this pipe. The one we got used from the Ford Transit repairman was wrong. That was for the pre-facelift Max 7, which is a smaller turbo, so it didn't fit. And finally, I have the right pipe. How many part suppliers have we tried?
At least 3 that we actually bought a part from. Something like that.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
That's not counting the people that just didn't have nothing.
And they got it on Ukraine Independence Day. Most places are closed. It's kind of...
Who the fuck's open today?
Yeah, who the fuck's open today? They were. Right. It's a fairly simple job to get out. I took the airbox out just to get a bit more space to get down the back. But here we have the old one next to the new one. There's the hole, and it just shows what pressure these turbos are at. I wrapped it with a whole reel of red electrical tape, and then also a whole reel of black electrical tape, and it's still put a hole in it. So there we go, it's fixed. I've tie wrapped it to the coolant pipe and then just duct taped over it because, you know, I don't want the tie wraps to snap from the heat like what happened last time, and for it then to get caught on this again and have a hole made in it. So that's pretty far out the equation now. So now I just need to clean off all the oil from underneath it. Hopefully the bird's nest doesn't get wet.